Hello viewers, I remain Beatrice Christopher from Statistics Scribe. God willing, in these tutorials, I'm going to explain to you how to define the decimals as a variable type in IBM SPSS statistics. Before I proceed, I'd like you to know that in IBM SPSS statistics, the variable attribute decimals means the number of digits to display after a decimal point for values of a variable. Okay? Now, I'd also like you to know that in this case, as you can see here, we have 2, 2, 2. That means 2 decimal places with the exception of date. Now, let's check. Go back to our data view. You see we have 2 decimal places. Let me extend this. 2 decimal places, 2 decimal places. Okay. 2 decimal places. It does not apply to date. 2 decimal places here. 2 decimal places. Does not apply to string, does not apply to restricted integer. Okay, so now let's go back. Observe 2, 2, 2. I'll change some so you'd understand. I'll change the first one, which is test score, to 1 decimal place. Change it to 1 decimal place. Observe the difference now. You see it's to 1 decimal place. The same thing. So you can always change each of this anytime you want to change it, with the exception of dates. You can see you cannot change this. You can't change the width count and the decimals count for dates. This is because the width and decimals counts for dates are not editable once the date format has been selected for date variable type. Okay, so you can't actually edit the width count and the decimals count because we've already edited it here. As you can see, we've selected what we wanted. So anytime you change it, let's assume I'm changing the date format to this. Observe the width count and the decimals count. It will change. Observe here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It means if I select this, my width count will be 11. Observe. See, it's 11, right? Can you see? And 0 decimals. So you can change it to any format you'd like, whatever it is. If I change it to this, it will become 8. Have you seen it? It's now 8, right? So the same thing. So now quickly, let's see how far. Hope you understand what I'm saying here. So the next thing I have here is, and that I want you to know, is that decimals count must be less than the width count. What I'm saying is these decimals here, the count here must always be less than the width count. So for example, I want my decimals count here, in this case of income here, maybe I want it to be 7. It's not possible because it's greater than 6, which is the width count. It has to be less than 6, that is 5 and below. Now let me click on enter. So observe what will happen. The number of decimal places is too large for the field width. Okay, the field width here is 6. Okay, so it can't be that. So, and also I'd like you to also know that the decimals here, decimals count, which is the width here, is always between 0 to 16. That means maximum is what? 16. You cannot have decimal places up to 17 in IBM SPSS statistics, except for maybe in the long run, maybe subsequent versions. Okay, so now here, let's assume I want to have decimal places of 17. 17. You see, please enter an integer between 0 and 16, okay? Just like in the case here under test scores, where we said the maximum width count or field width is 40. It can't be greater than 40. The same applies, okay? So let me just change this to 3. Then here, hope you understand what I'm saying here in terms of the width count, right? I said the decimal count must not be greater than or equal to the width count. It has to be less than the width count, which is the field width. So in essence, let's assume I want to change this to 8. It's not possible because 8 is not less than 8. If I change it to 8, it's still not possible because the number of decimal places is too large for the field width. Okay, so hope you understand what I'm saying. And the next thing I'd like you to know is that the decimals here, number of decimals or the decimals itself, does not apply to string or restricted numeric also. So let's assume for this So for surname here, which is a string variable, as you can see, it's non-editable because it does not apply. And for the restricted numeric here, it still does not apply, okay? So hope you understand this one too. And I said that the decimals count must always be less than the width count, okay? Always remember that also. I also want you to know that the decimals here changes how the numbers are displayed, but does not change the values in the data set. What I'm saying is this is one decimal place. It does not change the value. Now, let me show you an example. Test scores here is to one decimal place, right? So I want to type something maybe to 5 decimal places. Here, let's come to case 2. Here, let's assume I have 12.3456. You see this, let's say, and 7. 12.34567. Observe. This is what we are having on the cell here. 12.3 that is displaying. But on actual value here, what we have is 12.34567. That's why I said it does not change the values in the data set, but it changes how the numbers are displayed. So this is how the number is displayed, 12.3, because we said it should be in one decimal places, and this is the actual value in the data set, okay? So hope you understand what I'm saying here. So now let's toggle around to see. The next thing I'd like you to know is that the width here, that is the width counts here, or the field width minus the decimals, which is the decimals count, must always be greater than or equal to 2 for the dollar attributes. So what I'm saying is 6 minus 2 is 4. It is actually greater than or equal to 2. But let's assume we have 6 minus 5, which is 1. It will not work. Now let's see. Let me change this to, let's say, 5, my bad. So let's say 5, yes. Observe what happens. Width minus decimal places must equal to or greater for dollar. You see what I'm saying? So that is just what I wanted to take note of, okay? I hope you like this video. Kindly like, share, and subscribe. Hit on the notification bell if you like the video for more updates. Thank you for watching.